How to compare lists in Excel and find similarities and differences. As we can notice, I have two different data sets. The first one to the left and the second one here in this bluish color. Let's say in the first data set, I have more rows or more data than I have in the second one. So this is a very big problem, because if I sort or organize the data set using the order number, for example, as my criteria, I cannot properly align the same order number in the same row. However, if I take this order number right here, I can find the same value in this row right here. Therefore, they are not in the same row. And the information that I need to check if it's equal to each other is the value. Of course, I could use the quantity or the region or other columns that I could have. However, I want to use the value and the order number. So to get started, let's select the first data set, click, hold, and drag until the last row. Then right click and then copy. Let's go to a column to the right and paste maybe right here. Right click and then paste. Okay, so those informations are my first data set. Knowing that, I can go to the second row and then I can type in first file, let's say, enter. Let me right click on the cell, copy, select all the cells that I have, right click and then paste. This is going to help us separate, split one data set to another. Now in this column, I can use a title such as file name. Now let's go back here and select the second data set. However, this time I don't need to select the header, just the informations that I have underneath. Select everything, right click, copy. Let's go now to the right, and in the first blank row, I can right click and then paste. Now I have the second set of values. And again, second file, enter. Let me click and then right click on the cell, copy, select everything and then paste. I can also change the header color just to make it different from the other two. Click on the fill color and then let me use a red color just to stand out from the rest. Now let me make sure I can move the screen to the right. I want to select or click on any cell that I have within my dataset. Now I can go to insert and then pivot table. And the pivot table is the tool that is going to help us check whether or not we have the same value for the same order. Let me use existing worksheet because I want to input the pivot table in the same worksheet that I have. Let me click in this up arrow and then I can choose this cell right here, down arrow. Okay, that's it. In this pivot table that I have, I can make my analysis. Now let's go here to the right where I can see all the options that I have to create my pivot table. I want to use, first of all, the order number. Let me click, hold, and drag and drop onto the rows fields like this. Now, in each one of the rows, I have a different order number. And to separate the value from the first file to the second one, I can use as the column field the criteria, let's say file name. Click, hold, drag, and drop onto the columns. Now if we check again the pivot table, I have the order naming or number, the first file and the second file. And to make sure those cells are filled with that value, I can click on the value, click, hold, drag, and drop onto the values field like this. Now we are going to be able to compare the order first value to the order second value. And just to make it easier, let me get rid of this grand total. So right click on the pivot table and then I can go to pivot table options, total and filters, show grand totals for rows and neither for columns, and then okay. Now let me close this panel here. Let me select all those three columns, and in between one and another I can click, hold, and drag to the right just to make sure I can increase the width of those columns. Okay, as we can notice, the order 86, 88 is equal in the two different files, so it's okay. I can go here to the Z column and type in OK. The second one, I can notice that I only have the value for the first file, so it's okay too, because there's nothing to compare. The third one is okay, the fourth one, the fifth one, and so forth. However, if I go here maybe to this order right here, 18, 89, 44, I can see that the values are different. So I want to calculate the difference between those two values. However, instead of manually do this row by row, because it's going to take me a long time to complete this task, I can use the if function to help me. So in a column here to the right, maybe in the Z column, it's going to help us to calculate or to return the status. And I can use the equals sign and then if. Let me double click in the if function, 1, 2. As the logical test, I want to check the cell x3. X3 is the coordinate of this cell right here. Okay, so x3 is equal to the cell y3. If it's true, if it's okay, I want to use the okay statement, comma, value if it's true. Open quotations and then okay, close quotations, comma. However, there is 2 more conditions to check. The first one is if I have a blank cell in the second file, or if I have some blank cells in the first file, it's because it's okay too. And the second or the third criteria is if the values are different, I need to calculate the difference between those two values. But let's continue with the blank cells. If I have a blank cell in the second file, or I have a blank cell in the first file, it's because I also have a okay. So again, if function, double click, 1, 2, column. Logical test. As I have 2 conditions to check that are the blank cells in the first or in the second file or column, I can go with the OR logical function. 1, 2, if x3 is equal to open and close quotations, or if it's equal to blank, comma, or the cell y3 is equal to open and close quotations, if the x3 or the y3 is equal to blank, it's because I have a okay. Close parentheses, comma, open quotations, okay, close quotations. However, if it's not equal to blank, if the values are not equal to each other, I need to calculate the difference between the first to the second file, comma, x3 minus y3, close parentheses. And then I need to close parentheses again, as I still have here in the screen this tag. So close parentheses again, enter. First row is okay. Let me bring at the bottom right corner, click, hold, and drag this formula down. Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, everything is right. Here we are not going to have a okay result. However, the difference between those two values. So let's check if it's correct. Click, hold, and drag. Yeah, that's it. The difference between those two values is a negative 3.69. Now let me double click at the bottom right corner of the cell, 1, 2, and that's it. Everywhere now we have a difference between the values. We're going to have as result the difference between those values. And to see everything at once, we can apply some filters to this status column. So let me select everything that I have in the column Z, and then I can go to the Home tab. To the right, I can go to Sort and Filter, and then Filter. Let me click on this button, and then I can select everything but OK, status, and blanks, and then OK. So those are the order numbers where I have the errors. And I can also select everything here, and then I can fill those cells with a yellow color like this. Now let me get rid of this filter. Click and then clear filter. Now I know all the orders that are different from each other using those 2 Excel files or lists. And of course, if we have a third or a fourth list to include in this calculation, let's say, we could use the same methodology. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and do not forget, if you have any questions or any suggestions to the next videos, let me know, comment down below, and I see you tomorrow, because every day has a new video.